Hello! Today we will be starting our focus on the perfect tenses by learning all about the present perfect tense. We previously discussed the basics of perfect tenses, including past participles. If you haven't watched that video yet, or if you are not sure what a past participle is, I recommend taking the time to watch it now to help you better understand the rest of this video. The first thing that we are going to do is learn how to form this new tense. To form the present perfect tense, we start by choosing which subject we are going to use. Then, we add the present simple form of the auxiliary verb to have, meaning have or has depending on the subject. Finally, we complete the tense by adding the main verb in the past participle form. As long as you know the correct conjugation of the verb to have, the structure becomes simple to form with the subject has or have and the past participle stuck on the end. Let's look at a few examples. I have finished my homework already. She has eaten all of her dinner. We have visited China. Keep in mind that we can contract the subject and auxiliary verb when we are speaking or even in informal writing. To do this, drop the HA of have and has and replace it with an apostrophe in writing, leaving simply the S or V sound at the end of the subject when speaking. This means that you would see or hear I've, you've, he's, she's, it's, we've, they've. Please note that the apostrophe S in he's, she's, and its can both mean is or has. The context of the rest of the sentence should give you the information you need to interpret which one of these words is correct. Of course, we can also use present perfect in the negative form. To create a negative present perfect sentence, simply add the word not between the auxiliary verb, which is to have, and the main verb. If you are contracting a negative sentence, you contract the word not with the correct form of the verb to have for the sentence. In this case, drop the O from not, contracting the two words to result in hasn't and haven't. Some examples are, he hasn't danced the tango yet. You haven't read the Outlander series. They haven't walked on the beach before. We can also make this tense interrogative by switching the subject with the auxiliary verb. For example, has she celebrated her birthday this year? Have you made reservations? Have I qualified for the final round? The harder part of this tense is knowing when to use it. The present perfect tense is used to discuss an action or state that happened for an indefinite amount of time in the past, or for something that started in the past and is still continuing in the present. Ultimately, this tense is used to demonstrate some kind of a link between the present and the past. There are three primary things that we use the present perfect to talk about: continuing situations, experiences, and changes. The present perfect can also be used to discuss situations which are continuing from the past to the present and possibly will also continue to the future. In this case, we are referring to a situation and not an action. One way that we can identify this structure is that we often use the words for or since in these sentences. For example, we have worked together since 2015, or I have lived in Nova Scotia for 2 years now. In both of these cases, the sentences indicate that the situation is still happening now, meaning that we are still working together or that I still live in Nova Scotia. As a quick side note, we use the word since when we are speaking about a specific point of time that happened in the past. For example, I haven't played that game since 2015. The word for is used when we are talking about a period of time. For example, they have called us every day for the past 3 months. Another way that we can identify when to use this tense is when we need to use an unfinished time word, meaning that the period of time that we are talking about isn't over yet. For example, I haven't gone swimming yet this year. In this case, the year is not over. We can also use the present perfect to talk about an experience that has happened in the past. However, since this tense is only used to describe something that happened at an unspecified time in the past, it is not used when we are including a specific time frame. In this case, we don't really care about when you did something, only if you did it. For example, someone may ask if I have been to Thailand. Notice the present perfect tense being used. I can then respond with a yes. The person asking would have to ask a follow-up question to determine when I went or how long I was there for. Also notice here that the experience in question happened in the past and now is a memory for me in the present. You may notice words like ever or never used for these experiences. For example, have you ever heard this band before? Or he has never seen the Northern Lights. Finally, we can use the present perfect tense to talk about new information or changes which have happened between the past and the present. For example, Todd has just done his homework, or the price of gas has gone up again. Notice that both of these examples also include some indicator words. The first sentence uses the word just, which indicates that the action happened in the recent past. The second one uses the word again, which indicates that the action has happened several times over an unspecified period of time from the past to now. I hope that this clarifies how to use the present perfect tense, both with its structure and its usage. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, or if you would like to see a video created for a certain topic, let me know in the comments and I'll work on developing it for you. Thanks for watching and see you next time.